I want her to be happy, and more than anything, I just don't want her in this pain.
That man is talking about his dog who was hit and pinned under a car in Sherwood. Now he's asking for help finding the driver who's responsible.
Plus, school will resume at 2 high schools in the St. Helens School District today after outrage from students and parents when 2 teachers were arrested for sexually abusing minors.
It's Helens! Good Lord.
Yeah, good Lord is one way to describe it. You've got hail as another. Lots of viewers sent us video of hail hitting the area yesterday. Washington County, up in Vancouver. We've got you covered with Rod Hill on deck to give us a look at today's weather. The 6 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now.
Well, good morning, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Ashley Grams, in today for China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. It is a Tuesday morning here in the Sunrise Show. We mentioned Rod Hill.
Yes.
Let's bring you Rod Hill live in the Weather Center.
We give you a lot of information during the weathercast each day, and it pays to pay attention because yesterday we mentioned potential hail, potential thunder, snow levels at 1,500 feet. We actually had snow later in the day being reported closer to 1,000 feet in terms of some snow showers. We're much more stable today. There's no thunderstorm threat. It should primarily just be rain coming in. And lit up behind me, more on all this coming up, but this is a wind advisory from Eugene to Longview starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon for south to east gusts as high as 45 miles per hour. East winds might be stronger in some areas. And then in red, we have along the coast also starting at 1 o'clock. High wind warning today for south winds gusting to 60 miles per hour. So for the valley in southwest Washington, the impact of windy, wet evening and night coming. South to east gusts generally 35 to 45 miles per hour. I mentioned east gusts in some spots could be higher. Heavy rain at times, but not heavy rain all night. And all of this, both the rain and the wind will be calming overnight. We've got rain moving northward up into Portland at this hour in terms of some showery weather. Salem, it's been raining for a while now, but mostly light. We're at 40 degrees. KGW weather impact alert for the winds picking up later today and heavier rain coming in overnight. Here's Chris.
Rod, we start with breaking news in Northeast Portland in the Sullivan's Gulch neighborhood. This is live right now on Northeast Broadway near 19th and Broadway. You can see Portland Fire and Rescue dealing with some sort of a building fire here off to the left. Photojournalist Chad Dehart is on the scene there in the rain. It looks like they've got the fire, somewhat under control. We're working, of course, to get more details on this, and we'll bring those to you as soon as we have them. The traffic impact at this point, though, as you can imagine, Northeast Broadway is going to be shut down for a little while in the vicinity of Northeast, between 19th and 21st. So again, we're working to get the more details on that, and we will bring those to you as soon as we have them. Interstate 84 right now still rolling right along despite the wet weather out there. Highway 26 looks good. A reminder from the residual low snow that we had yesterday and last night, there are a couple of school districts in southwest Washington in Cowlitz County running on snow routes this morning. So Kelso, you're on AM snow routes. Kalama has a couple of routes, and as does the Woodland School District. Guys, we'll get a look at some of those driving conditions up in the higher terrain coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Chris. Our top story at 6, classes will resume at 2 St. Helens high schools this morning after days of student protests.
Yeah, last week, the district superintendent was placed on leave after a current and former teacher at the high school were both charged with sexually abusing students. Thomas Schultz continues to cover the story for us from the newsroom. So, Thomas, at this point, what is the district saying to families?
Well, Drew and Ashley, they sent a short message to parents saying they appreciate their patience through recent challenges and will bring high school students back to class today. This, of course, comes after a week of outrage from parents and students, including days of protests, leading the school district to close school. That's after a current St. Helens teacher and former educator were accused of abusing a total of 9 students. One of those teachers, you see him right there, Eric Stearns, was still teaching until his arrest, even though police say the school knew he was under investigation for 2 months. Friday, the school district placed both Superintendent Scott Stockwell and St. Helens High School Principal Katie Wagner on paid administrative leave. The chair of the school board resigned too. Still, despite those changes, students and teachers say it's not enough to make up for years of instances of kids feeling uncomfortable in class.
If anybody reports this stuff, it was made to feel like it's not that big a deal, right? We just kind of want it to go away.
And they let people who have had multiple strikes against them, multiple harassment claims, still teach. And it's disappointing, it's sickening.
And students say this type of behavior goes beyond just these 2 teachers. Some parents tell us they'll be pulling their kids from the district because they say they've lost trust with administration. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live in our newsroom this morning. So that's the latest in St. Helens. Meanwhile, let's talk about Albany because there's still no school today for kids in the greater Albany school district. The longest teacher strike in district history is now in its second week. So the district and the teachers union are expected to resume talks with a mediator today after hours of mediation this past weekend came up empty. The district says its latest offer includes a 7% raise for all teachers and a 9% raise for senior teachers. Even when a deal is reached, school will likely be canceled one more time, giving teachers a day to plan for students' return to the classroom.
And Sherwood police are still searching for a hit-and-run driver who injured a man and his dog. Now the owner will have to pay thousands in vet bills. Randy Magley and his dog Bella were crossing Southwest Division at Main Street last Wednesday when police say this silver Chevy Suburban turned right into them. The force of impact threw Randy about 25 feet, and Bella's harness got caught in the vehicle's undercarriage, pinning her.
I remember hitting the ground, and all I heard is her wailing, and kind of looked up, and he was trying to move forward over the top of her.
Sherwood police say the driver took off after that. Here's another look at that silver Chevy Suburban. Randy says the driver was a white man and got a partial plate number 619. While Randy walked away with minor injuries, Bella suffered a severe gash on her left wrist, lost the pads on her foot, and will need reconstructive surgery. Her vet bills have already topped $5,000. If you want to help with Bella's medical expenses, we posted a link to the GoFundMe on our website, KGW.com. Also, anyone with information about this case is asked to call Sherwood Police.
50 workers at Boeing's Gresham facility will lose their jobs because of layoffs coming up in mid-January. That's according to a notice filed with the state of Oregon. And that's on top of the 2,200 Boeing workers in the Seattle area who will lose their jobs next month. The company plans to cut about 17,000 jobs altogether. That's about 10% of Boeing's workforce.
We'll take a look at the snow in the Cascades yesterday. Lots of you told us it's a welcome sight given we didn't see this much snow last season until after the new year.
I follow the weather, but some years the La Nina weather pattern is really good for us. And this year looks to be one of those years.
So far, ODOT has not had to close any major highways, but it's urging drivers to be prepared. Let's bring in Chris McGinnis. Chris, what are things looking like this morning?
Let's take you there. This is Highway 26 up at 4,000 feet of Government Camp. Again, you've got snow-covered roadways. Traffic is getting around as long as they're equipped, right? And that's the thing you got to remember. When you go up to the higher terrain, this is Highway 26 near 35, and you can see snow-covered roadways up there. Winter driving conditions, that means chains or traction tires required. Chains required on big trucks, right? Studded tires are permitted, but sometimes even maybe better and more flexible than studded snow tires are those winter tires, right? The studless winter tires, and you can see those denoted with tires that have that little snowflake emblem on those. So it's kind of help you get around when we've got snowy conditions, and they can give you pretty good traction up there. All right, speaking of snowy conditions, we do have a couple of districts in southwest Washington on snow routes this morning. Kelso, Kalama, Woodland, just a few routes up there. So be on the lookout, be prepared for that, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. Let's talk about some of the weather we saw around the area. Lots of spots getting hail yesterday afternoon. A viewer named Alex sent us this video from Aloha. And then we go up to Clark County because the Fisher's Landing area of Vancouver also getting some hail. A viewer named Evelyn posted this video to our KGW Facebook page. I don't know what I was doing yesterday afternoon, but I saw none of that. A little south of here in the Oregon City, West Lynn area.
Well, it was scattered. It's not like we're going to have a big line where everybody gets hail. Hail is almost always scattered because it's convective in nature, right? You've got the individual cumulus clouds popping up and carrying the water droplets up into the colder air aloft, and the water droplets freeze to ice, and then it bounces around until it's heavy enough to fall to the ground. But we had plenty of hail reports. I know out Mill Plain east of 205. At one point, the hail was reported to basically be covering the ground. We had snow yesterday that was actually, our snow level yesterday for me was 1,500. We actually had some reports of snow closer to 1,000 feet in terms of kind of what I will say is were mostly frivolous snow showers as far as I know. And then all the snow, 2 feet, fell at the resorts yesterday. Wow. Up on Mount Hood. All right, here's the bomb cyclone. the name just basically says you've got a low pressure system over a short period of time, in a 24-hour period generally or less, that just explodes into a massive, large, strong low center. And on the satellite picture, this thing looks really impressive. But notice my blue arrows. It's not coming inland. It's waving at us right now out in the Pacific, but it's going to turn and move back away from us. So we will avoid, I would say confidence, it's not certain, but it's very high. And by that I mean probably 85% confidence that we will get through this with nothing overly concerning wind-wise or rain-wise. Now, with that said, we have the high wind warning starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon along the coast, generally for south to east winds gusting as high as 60. That's kind of garden variety stuff, right? And then we've got the wind advisory also 1 o'clock through 4 a.m. tonight. For the valley, this is for south to east winds gusting as high as 45. There may be 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts later today into this evening coming out of the gorge. That's what I want to show you real quick. Here's 4 o'clock this afternoon. Notice the arrows are generally east to southeast. Salem south, but wind protected, no wind, if this is correct. And then we get into the evening, mid-evening. Here's 43-mile-per-hour gusts from the east coming out of the gorge into Portland. There's Gates, 46-mile-per-hour, maybe a 50-mile-per-hour gust shooting down the flanks of the Cascades into the valley. But still from Salem to Eugene, that's just a breeze, less than 20 miles per hour. And gusts at the coast not looking that bad either. But it will be, I mean, it will catch your attention at times tonight, the wind, in some areas more than not. But I really think the big threat tonight is going to be folks that are susceptible to getting an east wind flow. Here's a look at rain in Salem. We're starting to see some showers move northward up into Portland this hour. We're at 40. Temperature is not a concern here on the west side this morning. 32 in Bend, 23 out in Baker City. It will be snow showers out east today with temps in the 30s. And I think we'll spend mostly the day in the 40s here on the west side with the clouds thickening and the rain increasing this afternoon with the wind. KGW weather impact alert for the mainly for the wind later today and tonight. The storm is out of here by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. And then the rest of the day, it's just showery, the rest of the week, it's just showery weather. Thursday, Friday, Saturday into Sunday with no concerns. And we will be back. There's your 7-day. We'll be back in a moment.